Well, my wife was going out of town to see family for 5 days, so I decided I'm going to go solo camping, and I'm going by myself, and I'm going to go look for Bigfoot. There's an area that I've always wanted to go to. It's not a perfect place to go camp as far as scenic and everything, but with my research, I figured this is Bigfoot right here. And so the whole point of this trip was to go look for Bigfoot. I made a plan. I decided, I've been looking at this area for a long time. I mean, 5 years at least. Just looking at them like, oh, they're here. I know they're here. This is the perfect spot for them. They got to be here. And so I made a plan, and my plan pretty much was to come up here, and this area is remote. I mean, this is so remote. I cannot believe how remote this is. It's amazing, and that was one of the reasons why I chose it. And the wilderness area is just here, and that's where I went into. I went into one of the hugest meadows in the world. Well, I don't know. It's a huge meadow. It's not a huge meadow. It's a huge meadow in the wilderness area, and meadows are a great place for wildlife. And I'm like, if there's Bigfoot, they got to be here. And so I got my auto recorder, and I hiked in 3 miles, and I put my audio recorder out, and then I hiked back. And my plan, and I camped right at where I put it in. I camped right at where I was taking it out because I wanted them to follow me back. I wanted that. I wanted them to come back to where I'm camping. I camped at the head of that stream. This is it. This is the stream that I hiked up. And yeah, so if you could just follow me back right to my camp. And I wanted that to happen, and my plan worked perfectly. It worked too good, because I think I made him mad. I think I kicked the hornet's nest. I like to take videos and pictures, and I document all my trips I go on. And since I've become a Bigfoot guy, I take an audio recorder and I put an audio recorder out every night whenever I go camping. And I've gotten some pretty interesting stuff. But so I've documented this whole trip, and I just wanted to share with you my story from the start. All right, first video. It's pretty hazy in real life. All right, getting ready to leave the pavement. Already seen a mountain goat. It's gonna be a good trip. Pretty soon they're gonna leave the pavement and get dirty. Alright, we've left the pavement. Got about 15 miles of dirt road. We're getting remote. Woohoo! Okay, now we're talking, baby. Now this is more like it. We're past the busy turnoff. It's more narrow road. Beautiful. Yeah, baby. Me like you a lot. About 6 miles before my final destination, I run upon a Forest Service outpost, and the sign before it is a good sign. Time to find a place to camp. All right, found my home. It's not the best view in the world. It's not the worst view either. Something's in the water. Let's go check it out. I don't see anything. That's some quiet. Yeah, this stuff's tall. Tall as I am. Taller. So I didn't get to camp until late. It's fall. It gets dark about 7:30. I got there about 7. By the time I got camp set up, did some cursory exploring around, it was already getting dark. So I ended up starting a campfire and started to enjoy my night. It had just gotten completely dark outside, and I started hearing something to my left, and it was moving in the woods. And I could hear it moving. I'm like, oh, there's something over there moving. And I thought, ooh, I had just bought night vision goggles for this trip, and I hadn't set it up yet. I was going to do a video review on them. So at home I bought it, and at home I opened it up, looked what I needed, read the instructions, put it back together, and then I'm going to do the review in the field on site. So I'm sitting there, I'm hearing that noise, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to go get my night vision goggles. So go in the trailer, get the night vision goggles, get them back, and it takes 8 batteries, 4 on each side. So I'm sitting there fumbling, putting 4 batteries in one side, 4 batteries in the other side, making sure they're correct. And I have it down, power it up, and I lift them up, and I look to where that noise is coming from. And there's something standing there looking back at me. And I'm like, what? And it leans over sideways and then stands back up. And it leans over sideways and stands back up. And I'm looking through this night vision goggles that I've never looked through in my life. And I'm like, my mind was saying, no, this can't be right. This can't be right. You're not seeing what you're seeing. I couldn't believe my eyes. I could not believe my eyes. And it was standing there, and it would bend over sideways. And it bent over more sideways than like a regular person would. I mean, it bent way over sideways. And then it went straight. And then it went bent way over sideways. And then it went straight. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is what they say. It's swaying. It's swaying back and forth. But it's not swaying. It's bending over sideways to look. And standing up. And bending over sideways to look. And stand up. So, I mean, if you saw it, you would kind of think it was swaying, but it really wasn't swaying. It was just bending over sideways to look. And I'm thinking, this is exactly what they say. I'm like, no way. No way. My mind was like, no. And my eyes were like, yes, it's right there. And I'm like, I could not believe it. And the way it moved, it didn't seem natural. It moved. It just did not seem natural. I mean, it was bending way over, and it just did not seem it didn't seem natural the way it was doing it. And when it stood up, I could still see it because, I mean, it was only partially covered by a little tiny tree. I mean, it wasn't like it was hidden when it was standing straight up. I could still see it.
but then it would bend over sideways again and bend over back. And I could not believe my eyes. My mind would not believe it. And the goggles I have a camera function, a camera function. It has a video function. And I pushed record. And it said no memory card. And I'm like, no way. And I'm looking, and I still cannot believe my eyes. I mean, I can't believe it. There's a Bigfoot standing right there. No, there can't be. So I'm thinking to myself, I gotta record this because I can't believe what I'm seeing. And so I go into my camper and I grab my memory card, I put my memory card in, I get back out, bring it up, and of course, it's gone. It's not there. Yeah, and I scan everywhere, and this is me scanning everywhere, and I'm shaking. You can see how bad I'm shaking. I am just shaking because this is so crazy, but I mean, I don't see anything. And I know you think, dummy, but you don't know how many times I've kicked myself since then. I mean, I wanted to record it for me, that I saw that. I honestly couldn't believe my eyes. I want it for me. But it would be nice to show my friends and family. I know it wouldn't prove Bigfoot exists. Just to say, hey, this is what I saw. I am so bummed. So as far as the description goes, seeing it and thinking about it, I remember seeing something similar to it online like 5 or 6 years ago or something. And of course, looking online, you can't find it. So just looking through stuff, I did find this that reminds me of it. I'm not saying this is a true picture or anything. I'm just saying reminds me of it. And I'm going to use it to help with my description. But what I remember is skinny arms. I remember skinny legs, skinnier than this. And I remember a big torso. And I remember no neck, but I remember the head being more closer to the body, more rounded. It wasn't so big. As far as leaning over, this seems like it's leaning over unnaturally. But what I saw, I mean, the head would lean over like this far, like it would lean clear over to this. It had to be right here. It would be so leaning over so far. As far as size, I couldn't tell. I really couldn't tell. When you turn those on, it's zoomed in. It's kind of like you're looking through low power binoculars. So I have no idea how big it was. I would say it was at least my size or bigger, 6 foot or larger, but I have no idea. Okay, so I did do a recreation. I did it by myself, so it's not exactly perfect. But this is at night from the night vision camera, and this is the daytime recreation. And it's not exactly the same, but it's pretty close. This leaning tree's there, this leaning tree's there. My recollection is, it was about probably this head branch tall, which is this over here. But it looks a little different during the daytime. A little bit different angle. I might have been taller here to my eyes versus on the tripod here. So I had 2 cameras rolling at the same time. This side is, just what it looks like with your own eyes, the camera not zoomed in. The night vision camera, the lowest, when you turn it on, the lowest, it's already zoomed in. It's zoomed in this much already. So, I mean, it's already zoomed in. It's kind of like looking through a little bit of binoculars a little bit. And this is what it looks like in real life. And these are the same spots. Okay, this is way lower, but I'm doing live video far away with the video camera, and then I'm also doing a test. Count my steps from here. 1, 2. Okay, yeah, this isn't exactly perfect. I don't know if I have exactly the same. I think I'm close on the screens. I'm gonna roll with it. Hopefully I'm in frame. Okay, this is where I first go, is the farthest way it probably is. It's probably right there. I go to where that tree's leaning over, and then I come back a little closer. I think I come back too close here. And you can see the difference in both screens there, like real life versus zoomed in life through the night vision. And actually, this is more like it. This is more what I think it was. And I'm bending over, but I'm not bending over even far enough. It was such a far bend over. And then I come up closer, and yeah, this isn't right at all. But so yeah, sorry about it. Was way lower on this one, but I think this one's a little too far away. We're looking at the real life looking. I think it's when I stepped back. Seemed more like it. And this is what you would see with your own eyes without it zoomed in. I mean, this is how far away it was, I guess. And that seemed more right to me. So this is from the night vision zoomed in. And as I'm walking back, this seems more right to me, just in my head. But there's that thing up there. I'm not sure how far or away or close it was to the camera. I mean, so yeah, it's hard to feel. And this is not even close to being right. Yeah. And the focus is a little tricky, so yeah, the focus wasn't that great. Sorry. Here's some more video from later that night. I kind of made it like a diary as I was sitting next to the fire. Got us a now hoot in the background. Big fire pit. Little fire. Oh. Decent fire. The presence is gone. Feel alone. It's really hard to explain. But the presence is gone. There was a presence. I'll go ahead and make this a diary. I mean, you hear that quiet? Besides the owl. That's quiet. It's 10:30 at night. So, I'm looking around. I don't see anything. And I ended up hearing a few things. I just felt like something was around, if that makes sense. Heard a little bit of rustling, heard some mouth pops. I did my own mouth pops, and I talked. And anyway, like an hour later, or even, it was probably about 9:45 at night, and I did one scan with my night vision, didn't see anything, and then something
said something to me. It was a voice. And so then I sat down, tried to talk, tried to, make some noises to get a reply, and then all of a sudden I realized presence. The presence is gone. I don't feel a presence anymore. And I'm alone. And I'm talking to myself. And now I'm talking to you.
And this is what my auto recorder picked up, repeated twice. I went to bed that night about 12:30, and about 10 minutes after I went to bed, something walks into camp, and it has very heavy footsteps, followed by a clicking noise. And here is that repeated twice. And shortly after that, you can hear a faraway knock, and then there's something very close, and it does kind of a close bang, and then there's an immediate, like, wah, or quah, or wah reply. And I'll play that twice. That's the end of night one. It's a 5-day trip, and it only gets crazier from here. If I haven't posted day 2 out yet, stay tuned. I'm going to try to get it out in a week or two.